councillors? Thank you. I would like to call the special council meeting of the town of Lincoln, March 4th, to order. And this evening we have present to my right Deputy Mayor John Pachariva, Councillor Diane Regima, Councillor Adam Russell. To my left, Councillor Mike Mikulik, Councillor Lynn Timmers, and Councillor Greg Reimer. And we have staff here who were part of an earlier meeting, and they are here to continue to support any questions. Are there any declarations of interest? There being none, we'll move on to the regular agenda. The purpose of this meeting is to ratify the strategic priorities as they were presented earlier to committee by CAO Kirkopoulos, staff, and our consultants. Mr. CAO, do you have any comments on the process?
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you for the opportunity. I do just want to take council through some very brief introductory comments and also thank all members of council for your support and your approval in principle. This was a new and innovative way of developing priorities, and so I think it's been a journey over the last year that we've gone through collectively. I want to thank Lori and Jenny and Tom and their team at Leading Mind Labs that have taken us through this journey, and now we've reached that, I think, that exciting stage in the process, not the end of the process, but the end of the process probably for Lori and Jenny and their team, but the exciting process for us as we move forward. And just a brief conversation on how all of this does come together. Members of council will recall that our community vision was co-created in 2018 and really serves as our guide, and as we do so, it is intended to transition over multiple councils. It is really council priorities that are set each term, that are meant to be achieved each term, that our focus has been on today, and that our focus will be moving forward as we work on this and on the various policy elements that come along with it. So we did develop this both in what we heard from the community through members of council and also in meeting the needs as was collectively determined and the changing needs of communities. And so it is an exciting step. We will be moving forward. We will be, again, in principle, have agreed on these priorities. We'll be making some necessary wordsmithing that was discussed, and then we will be both sharing progress and rolling this out through an extensive communication conversation, and then you will be hearing from us through various elements, both in the corporate and departmental work plan updates that we provide as part of the budget process, which we're about to start in the coming months, and so I look forward to continuing to share this information with members of council and for your ongoing support.
Thank you very much, Mr. CAO. I also would like to thank council for being, for having tremendous courage. This is really quite a different approach, and some parts of it are very intangible in terms of the thinking that got us through those first stages where we were really having to dig deep to come up with our own personal thoughts on how we, wanted this to look. And I think that is what really makes this document stand alone. Now, I know that when Ms. Beattie gets finished with it, that it's going to be very beautiful. And who knows what it's going to look like, because that in itself, I think, is going to be quite outstanding for the community to experience that. So thank you all for the efforts, not to set the standards too high, or the expectations too high.
No pressure.
But I want to say that it is this kind of work, though, that brings councils together, not only in a kumbaya moment, but in a way that lays out a very solid framework, something that you can always refer to and go back to when you have a difficult decision ahead of you. We now have 3 layers of expression in terms of our priorities, and I want to really announce them because we haven't done that yet. And so when we looked at our priorities, to those of you who are watching this from the community, we wanted the town of Lincoln to be welcoming. We wanted it to be connected. We wanted it to be vibrant, and we wanted it to be resilient. And so that was the beginning point, and it took a great deal of creativity and grit to get there. So those are my comments, and so I have a motion moved by Councillor Russell and seconded by Councillor Pachariva to receive and file the workshop information from Leading Minds Lab regarding council priorities, and that council endorse the outcomes from the workshops regarding strategic foresight and priorities engagement. The pleasure on the motion. All those in favor? There are none opposed. The motion is carried. I also have a motion moved by Councillor Pachariva and seconded by Councillor Russell that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 2020-12, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on March 4th, 2020, being read a first, second, and third time. That bylaw number 2020-12 be enacted and passed, and that the mayor and clerk sign and seal the said bylaw. Pleasure on the motion. All those in favor? There are none opposed. The motion is carried. I have a motion moved by Councillor Timmers and seconded by Councillor Reimer that special council on March 4th, 2020 be adjourned. Your pleasure on the motion. All those in favor? The motion is carried. None opposed. Thank you.